Bridgestone Thundersport 500s up next. Over to you, Steve.
Adam Shelton is on pole position again for the Bridgestone Thundersport 500s. Can he put more pressure on Andy Lawson in the championship? Second on the grid, Lewis Osler looking for that first 500 podium here today, number 82. Keep an eye out for him. Andy Lawson here, number 12. I think he's quietly confident that he might be able to wrap up the championship here today. Double points, remember, here at Alton Park. Circuit still quite greasy. And here's Matt Bilton, number 70, fourth on the grid. Great front row start. Also, keep an eye out for the rest of the 500s, including James Pickford, who's got himself up to fifth.
Yeah, and alongside James, Dominic Clegg, Colin McCabe, who's still in, I think, third in the championship, and Richard Blunt in his rookie year. Yes, it's a fantastically competitive championship, but as you say, Steve, we now have the likes of Matt Bilton and Lewis Osler that we saw out in Street Fighters getting an extra race in earlier on, and they race very closely together, and they're up there to challenge the series leaders. But can anybody challenge number 61, the youngster Adam Shelton, who was on pole?
Oh, it's a good start from Adam Shelton. The Stinger, number 61, goes into the lead. A rider that enters this race having won the last 12, and that itself is a Thundersport GB new record. Foot off the peg there, it's still very greasy. Andy Lawson is slotted into second position. He's got to change his tactics coming into this event, Robin, because he's been just trying to secure the points. Sneakily, though, Adam Shelton, he may be 140 behind, but would you really put it past him, winning every race from here until the end of the season?
Well, no, frankly. He has looked so complete a rider since he got on this 500. It really is a perfect little marriage, really. He's a slight chap, is Adam, and he somehow makes this big machine look really light and nimble. There we see Colin McCabe, number 83, charging along there ahead of that Sol Kawasaki of Joe Barton, number 106. But yeah, Adam Shelton looks the complete picture, doesn't he? But Andy Lawson has points in the bank. He's won since the beginning of the year. And let's face it, he only got on a 500 almost by mistake. He was going to be in 600 this year, but couldn't get the budget together. Got loaned one of these for the first race of the season at Mallory Park, and frankly, he's done a brilliant job since then. Oh,
he's done a fantastic job. That's why he's 140 points ahead of everybody else in the championship. But the last few rounds, he's just come under a little bit of pressure, and I think it's probably pressure put on him by himself more than anything else. He's very capable. He's more than capable of keeping up with Adam Shelton, as he's proving here. And is that a look up the inside into Lodge Corner?
Yes, well, he certainly had a look. Did he get alongside? We'll see him as they come up out of Dearly. No, didn't quite make it through. It is still Adam Shelton that leads, but number 12, Andy Lawson, poised there in second place. But Steve, I tell you what, Matt Bilton in third, number 70, he's right on their pace.
Yeah, after that Street Fighter race, he seems to have found some pace there, doing very, very well indeed. Lewis Osler also up there, the sharp end. Joe Barton's having one of his best rides on the Kawasaki, so improvers all the way down, but it's still Shelton that leads, looking for that 13th win on the trot, and it is for 50 points here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a breeze out there, Steve, too, and it's remarkably well drying the circuit. You can see the distinctive dry line there once again at the outside of the circuit. Look at this. We've now got Lewis Osler, number 82, getting up ahead of Matt Bilton, up into third, and he now is challenging Andy Lawson. And with everything else that Andy Lawson's had to put up with, watching Adam Shelton join the series and run away from him at the front, he's now got these two all around his ears.
Well, this is the last thing that Andy Lawson needs. Matt Bilton and Lewis Osler, both desperate to get themselves on the podium here in the Bridgestone Thundersport 500s. As we pan back, there's Colin McCabe, just ahead of Dominic Clegg, number 14. Colin, who was third in the championship coming into this race. He's only a couple of points ahead of Daryl Harrison, though.
Yeah, Dominic Clegg. Dominic Clegg has had a few offs this year, and I think, like a lot of young riders, he needs to iron that out of his game, and he'd be right up there in the points, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's proven a couple of times this season before that he can run with the leaders, and with a bit of confidence, maybe we can see him on the podium more regularly. But there's Lewis Osler in fourth place, so desperate to get that first ever Thundersport 500 podium, and will that play a part later on? There's number 88, that's Lewis Meldrum.
Yeah, he's been tracked there by 32.
Nick Clift.
Yeah, Nick who we've also been used to seeing up the front. I don't know whether it's the conditions that don't suit him as much, but a little bit further down the field than we used to seeing him of late. But Adam Shelton up the front, the youngster from Hull, is just pressing on in very much the way that he has over that last dozen rounds. Let's face it, he hasn't exactly broken the toe. Andy Lawson is back there, right with him in second. Then Matt Bilton ahead of Lewis Osler, as you say, once again. But Osler not out of it. These four, I do love the way they really do hammer these bikes. You watch the right hand there. There is some serious, I'm getting on the power now. Are they coming to Hizzies?
Yes, and these Bridgestone tyres, very grippy in these sort of conditions. It's still quite slippery, let's make no mistake about it, and it would be ever so easy to high side one of these, especially through Hizzy's chicane there. But it is still Lawson in second, ahead of Matt Bilton. Lewis Osler's just fallen off the toe a little bit in fourth place. Joe Barton is having a great battle a little bit further back, and there's number 93 and 89.
Yep.
Ian Robinson and Matthew Laws.
Yeah, real pushing on there. Of course, down there at Hizzies, it will always stay damper longer at Alton. It's a traditional thing. There's a couple of small ponds down there, and of course a stream runs that part of the circuit as well. It really will be damper long after the circuit has rest of the circuit's dried out. But look at this lovely drive there down from Druids into Lodge Corner, and Matt Bilton really pushing on. He's now got up there ahead of Andy Lawson. So Adam Shelton just getting away at the front. Look what this has done. The battle behind. They've been having a right old bun fight. Lewis Osler now getting up with Andy Lawson. Andy, he looks over his shoulder, and I'm sure that costs him a few seconds. And they're on to the last lap. There we see Joe Barton on the Kawasaki. Had a word with Joe, and he's probably doing the series next year, but I think he's going to go onto the Hondas with the others next season.
Yeah, he's got a good chance of challenging for the title as well, but through back markers there, Adam Shelton doesn't need to do anything too silly here. He's got 50 points on the table if he can just cross the line in front, but Andy Lawson has got a little bit more on his plate. Lewis Osler, looking for that first ever podium, is hungrier than ever.
Yep, they're coming through the chicane now. There we see our leader, Adam Shelton, that flashy yellow. There's Joe Barton once again, the Kawasaki coming through his chicane. But up the sharp end, well, Adam Shelton for the last time in this race into the Lodge, down and up out of Deerleap and to the checkered flag. Another win, number 13 on the bounce for Adam Shelton. Excellent stuff there. And in the chase, the flag, Lewis Osler. That looked, Lewis, I think, just got ahead of Andy Lawson. Yes, he did, that's confirmed. Bilton finished second, Osler third, Andy Lawson just fourth, Joe Barton fifth, Dominic Clegg sixth. Well, that shakes up the championship. Shelton the winner, Matt Bilton and Lewis Osler with him on the podium.
Well, 13 might be unlucky for some, but certainly not for you, Adam Shelton. 13 wins on the trot and double points. How happy are you?
I'm absolutely over the moon, to be honest. It was such a difficult race with the tyres just going off and off and off as the circuit was drying as we're on full wets. But just got my head down, put the laps. I saw the pit board you're getting more and more and more of a lead. So yeah, it was just brilliant. I'd just like to thank John at Kingfisher Fisheries for his input this weekend. Really appreciate that. Get well to Dave. Thanks to James and everyone who turned up this weekend.